this addiction is just, man, it's ridiculous. I look at it and I think I'm 46. I'm 47 next week. I should have my shit together. I should have it all together. I should have my life sorted. I should have a career. I should have an income. I should have a family. I should have a partner. I should be planning a Christmas lunch. And what am I doing? I'm watching a documentary called The Resurrection of Jake the Snake. And I never thought I'd be watching something like this. However, I am not a fan of the WWF at all. I don't even think I've ever really seen it. But I have followed Dallas Page. I followed his journey since he stopped. That was my daughter snoring, by the way, just if you're wondering what that snuffling sound was. I have followed Dallas Page since he stopped wrestling and he started DDP. I found out about Dallas a couple of years ago, and every now and then I just get this urge to do his program, but I don't do it because I'm addicted to failing and I'm addicted to being worthless, and I don't know how to stop it. I don't know how to undo it. I don't know how to undo this addiction that I have to being a failure. And I know people would probably not call it an addiction. I call it an addiction. I really do, because it's deeper than a pattern. I've stopped patterns before. I've dealt with patterns. I've changed patterns. I've evolved them. I've shifted them. I've released them. Patterns I can handle, but this is something completely different. This is an addiction, and it's hard. It's hard. I was watching Dallas, and I'm halfway through this documentary of Jake the Snake, and it's been humbling, and it's been horrible, and it's been hard, and it almost deepens this addiction that I have, and this voice in my head going, yeah, but that's them, that's not you. They haven't had your life. And I came across this because I was watching a video of a guy who had 7 family members physically abuse him. 7 family members physically abusing him as he was growing up. And he grew up just obliterated as a human being, completely believing that he was not worthy. And then he was on crack addiction, and he spent all their money, and one day he just went, enough is enough. And he found DDP's workouts, and he did DDP's workouts, and he found that courage, he found that strength in himself through doing the workouts and building that physical strength, challenging himself to physically be better. I mean, that's what Dallas is all about. He's about challenging people to physically be better, do better, so they can see what they're capable of. And I guess that's something I've never had to do before. I've never had to challenge myself to see what I'm capable of. I am white privilege, I guess, and not white rich privilege. My mum was a single mum and she raised us by herself. But she did everything. She did my washing. She did my cooking. She did my cleaning. She did everything. She did everything for me. And when she wanted me to do something, she never followed through. I never had to do it. She never followed through with punishment. She never followed through with any of it. And then she ended up I have to go for a walk and check up on my dog. She's doing something really weird. She ended up with a lot of money because my grandma died. And through having a lot of money, she was then able to give me money. And that kind of became the norm. She all of a sudden started funding my life, really. I worked. But then in my early 20s, I got sick, and then I changed my direction and I started studying, and then I ended a relationship and ended up back home. And then that's kind of when Mum started giving me money, I guess. It's weird. It's weird. That's my cat meowing for a cuddle. She'd give me money, but it would always come with, it always came with conditions. And the condition was that she could, I don't know, guilt me on it. I don't know where this is going. I feel like I'm prattling. I feel like I'm prattling because I'm trying to avoid talking about this. It is an element of white privilege. Like, we really did. Mum had she was a school teacher, and we lived in the same house for 45 years in a really good area. She moved there when the house, like the whole estate, not estate, but that whole street was only just being built out. There were like maybe 5 or 6 houses on the street when she moved in. It was a new area. The houses weren't that expensive. It wasn't classified as a good area. But then over the years, it became one of the best areas in where we were living. And especially when she died, it was classified as one of the top areas, which was great for me. But she's never, because she's always rescued me. That's what I'm trying to find. She's always rescued me. Every time a relationship ended. She would rescue me. I could go back home. She'd cook for me. She'd clean for me. She'd wash my clothes. She'd pander after me because I came home after the end of a relationship and I was sad, and she just wanted to help. And she did that. in her loving way. She did that. But she did that in my 20s. She did that in my 30s. And she did that in my 40s, kind of. No, she did. She did. She kept rescuing me until she died. But I never, because of that, I've never had to discover what I'm made of. I've never had to uncover what I'm made of. I've never had to figure out who I am or what I'm capable of or stand on my own 2 feet or I've never had to do any of that. She's always been there. Obviously she's not now because she passed away. But I don't have that drive. I watch these guys on DDP and I think that's the difference is I don't have that drive to succeed and that drive to succeed and that drive to achieve. I don't have it. And I don't know why I don't have it. I'd love to be better. I'd love to do better. But I just don't have the drive to do it. And without the drive, what is there? I don't know. There's nothing there without that drive. Without that deep desire, or through any addiction, you got to push yourself and you got to keep going, and you've got to have that drive and that willingness to keep going even in the roughest times, and I don't have that. So how does someone get over an addiction when they don't have that? And it's weird. I don't think I've ever heard anyone talk about having an addiction to being a failure. You hear about them talking about having an addiction to success, like the overworkers, the ones that strive to succeed, being addicted to that constant need for success. But what about at the other end of the spectrum? What about the people that are addicted to failure? What about us? Where do we fit into all of this? And it's just like, it's painful. I do the bare minimum just to ease that part of me that thinks that I'm not doing enough. I do. I've got a mozzie bite. I need to put some stuff on it. I do the bare minimum just so I don't actually have to do anything. Like today, for instance, I could have. So I'm looking. Oh, found it. Excellent. Found what I was looking for. Today, I could have done so much more than what I did today. I went out and watered the garden. And I watered the 2 gardens and I moved the pots. What I could have done today was dug out the entire contour swale that I want to dig out. Could have dug out the whole bloody thing. But no, I watered the garden and then I moved the pots. And then my brain's gone, see, you have done something. You're completely useless. And it's like, Jesus, okay. And that's kind of what it's like for me, is my brain just keeps going, see, you have done something. You're good. And I don't know. I don't know how to stop my brain from doing that. There's so much I could have done today. I could have... Oh, maybe I cleaned off the table as well. I think I cleaned off the table and vacuumed this morning. But still, I still could have planted all of those plants that we got the other day and Or I could have redone another one in the gardens. So much I could have done that I didn't end up doing. Because of that part of my brain that just wants to do the bare minimum. That's all it wants to do. And this show, this documentary, I'm watching it going, damn, these guys are in their 50s and their 60s and like they're turning their lives around. I look at Dallas Page and he was so injured and he was an addict and he's completely turned his life around. Completely. And so are these guys. Jake the Snake is in the process, as I'm watching this, completely turning his whole life around. That's my dog snoring, if you can hear that snoring sound. I don't know if you can, but there's a dog on the bed and he's snoring. I don't know where to go from here. I don't know. I don't know how to push myself. I literally don't know how to push myself. Everybody that I talk to, coaches and therapists and healers and I don't know, and all the people I watch, they just seem to have this drive to push themselves, to be better than what they are. I don't have that drive. I don't. It's not in me anywhere that I can find. And so that makes having coaches and that really hard because it means that they all got to this point where they had to make a decision to change and do whatever it took to change, and I just don't seem to have that. I can't find it. Yeah, that's my video for today.